Hey everyone, this is NinjaX, and joining me here is XVRogue from XVRogue Gaming on YouTube. How are you doing today?
I am doing amazing. So excited for some Dota 2. How are you?
I'm doing great, exactly. Dota 2, casting Dota 2 is awesome. What we have here is a low-level pub game, just a random one that we chose on the list, and it's going to provide some edutainment for you guys. Some of you guys want some lessons on just how to play the heroes or some in-game decisions. We're going to provide that along with entertainment. So going to the heroes, top lane, we have Skateboard Punker playing as the Rikimaru. Great item build, a lot of regen, a lot of stats. Joining him is the Phantom Lancer, with also a lot of stats. Looks like he random with the Poor Man's Shield. They will be fighting for farm a little bit up top, because they're both farm-dependent heroes. Bottom lane, we have Jason and I playing Sven. Again, a lot of good stats, a lot of good regen. Joining him is Sand King, with, same thing, a lot of regen, a lot of stats. And it looks like Vengeful Spirit is actually going to go middle. XVRogue, would you like to do the dire side for me?
For sure. So we have Lion going top. I really like his choice with purchasing Observer Words first. It's a little bit ballsy, and we see that he's lacking stats because of it. And I don't necessarily agree with that Ring of Regen. I feel like an int item might have been better for him. But he's already replacing an Iron Branch there with some of the little bit of extra gold he's got since the match started. Overall, not bad. A bit of a miscommunication, though, because we have Goats on Gyrocopter, also purchased Observer Words, and you definitely do not need 4 up top. I also don't like that he's missing the ward. Where he's standing right now, he really should be putting a ward down there just to make laning easier. Middle, we have Saladin. A little bit excessive on the tangos, but I love the fact he's got 3 GG branches, 2 clarities. That's excellent for keeping him in lane. His little crack twitch and Rubik's not going to go anywhere. Down at bottom, we have Ogre Magi. Great choice. He's receiving a Burrow Strike already, and followed up by the Sven stun. Pudge misses the hook. Oh, this looks bad for Ogre Magi. He gets the stun off to delay Sand King. Good choice, because Sven cannot stun twice at level 1. If he bought a Clarity, he would have been able to by now. Sand King going, it's a bit over-aggressive, though. He's taking a lot of damage from the tower. Burrow strikes to escape, but will it be enough? See, this is the problem. He doesn't have a Tango, and he's dead to the tower. Tower takes first blood. Thankfully, it doesn't actually consume the first blood bonus.
Which is kind of sad. The thing is, with level 1 Burrow Strike, the range isn't enough to really chase down that Ogre Magi anyways, so he could have just backed up immediately, saved himself to death.
Definitely. So I just want to take a note here. While on paper, you see a little bit of harassment from Ogre Magi. While on paper, healing salves seem like they're better, overall giving more HP per gold, it doesn't actually replace a Tango. Tango regenerating hit points, regardless of taking damage, is huge. If Sand King had been running a Tango on himself that entire time, his HP probably would have been high enough to escape. So just to finish up on items, we see Pudge here, great stats, 2 gauntlets, lining himself up for the urn. He has a Clarity just so he can stay in lane a little bit longer while still throwing out hooks. And again, 2 healing salves. A Tango would be a better bet. Now, healing salves, as a note, do not break from damage from Rot, so that's not too bad. And he is making an effort right now already for lane control. Now, really, that should be Rubik's job. But he's down here anyways, and he's making use of it. Let's see if he actually uses that haste for anything constructive.
He's coming in right now. He's going to rot right in. But that's a very good play here by Sand King with the Sandstorm. And it's actually very difficult for the bottom lane to do anything because they have 2 stuns on both sides. Actually, Pudge doesn't actually have a stun, but the rot is actually a good disable. And a hook is going to land. Burrow Strike stunning both of them. Sven needs to come back and help, but he's pulling right now. So it's up to Sand King to survive. Oh, unfortunately, that healing salve is going to get popped, and Sand King's in a lot of trouble without any type of regen.
Yet again, we see that the healing salve, it's not an alternative for Tangos. Definitely both are worth having because of the difference in the HP per second, but you can't just entirely sacrifice one over the other. Looks like Phantom Lancer is going to actually get a double kill there. Oh, Ricky got the second kill. A little bit of missed action. Double agility melee up top, fighting against double intelligence ranged.
And they somehow won. They somehow won the lane right now. And I think they were being over-aggressive. I did miss it on my minimap, but they were diving towers. And at level 1, or low level at least, that tower deals a lot of damage to you. It's not something that you can just do randomly. You have to really prepare for it, communicate with your teammate, and make sure that you have a big enough creep wave to tank the tower shots as you move in.
I just want to take a moment here. You'll note the Gyrocopter died second, but was already back in lane. What he did was when he respawned, he purchased a teleport scroll to get back there a lot faster. Lion's only arriving now. If you actually look at it, I mean, that sacrifice and experience, the amount of gold the Gyrocopter is able to generate just from last hitting while while he's in lane is going to make up for that teleport scroll, and it's a big waste to run back to lane at any time in the game.
Absolutely. You never want to leave a lane open because of the experience loss. If no one was there taking the experience, even though if they're not taking any last hit, just the experience itself is worth the teleport scroll to go back for.
Rubik using the ward set by Lion there, he picks up a regeneration rune, but he hasn't really been harassing much, so it wasn't really all that important. He's favoring Fade over the telekinesis. I'm not sure I really agree with that, unless he's going to use Fade to actually last hit creeps, which he's not.
Fadebolt is actually pretty decent in the early game for ganking. It's a lot of burst damage, so while telekinesis does give him a disable, it doesn't have that burst damage that he needs to start ganking with. And also the damage decrease is going to be useful against heroes like Rikimaru or Phantom Lancer when he has a whole bunch of illusions around him.
Yeah, but let's look at the team lineup. With Lion having a stun, Gyrocopter having a stun, Ogre Magi having a stun, and Pudge having both a hook and a disable. Oh, things are not looking good for Ogre Magi right now, speak of the devil. Good hook.
He's going to trade his life. Oh, he gets away with 3 HP. Pudge, not enough. The thing with Pudge is... Hold on, 1 second. Looks like Pudge might actually die here. No. The thing with Pudge is you probably want to start walking with him with the rods instead of right-clicking him. Because every time you right-click, you slow your hero down and gives your enemy a chance to run away. That's exactly what happened right there. If he had just kept walking, Sven was dead for sure.
Definitely, if he had actually moved ahead of him. Because Rot alone would have been enough damage to kill him, regardless of whether or not you're actually getting any melee hits in. Pudge's melee damage isn't actually that high at first. Now, for what I was saying about Fadebolt, the difference in damage, I mean, it is nominal. We see an out-of-position Rubik, but it won't be enough. It won't be enough.
The thing to note is that, sorry to interrupt, both heroes in bottom lane went back to the fountain, and it looks like Pudge just interrupted his teleport scroll. So what's going to happen is the Radiant bottom is going to have free farm and free experience. And from now on, it's going to be a lot tougher for the Dire to regain control of the bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely the teleport scroll is the way to go. It's unfortunate that he interrupted it. Fadebolt gains 75 damage per level, just to keep going back to that. And it gains 0.25 of the lip duration. And the reason why the lip duration is important is that it gives you more time to consider where you're going to actually drop the hero. And the stun duration increases by 0.25 as well. Overall, you're getting about a half second of disable shared amongst two heroes. I just feel like the disable would be a better bet early game, considering this particular team lineup for stacking stuns.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. We'll see how that plays out when he starts ganking. But Rikimaru is blink striking on Lion here, but Lion, of course, has the impale to save himself.
Now, Phantom Lancer is not to be counted out, though. Spirit Lance does an extremely large amount of damage for its mana return and on a decent to low cooldown. He has a Clarity Potion in his stash. He should definitely be flying that up to him so that he can harass a little bit more with it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of players just go Soul Ring on Phantom Lancer and spam Lance over and over again, and that's an easy way to nuke someone out.
It definitely has great returns. Rubik's doing a good job with wards, but he's not really putting them to any use. He had a haster in there, but instead of going top for any kind of contribution, he's actually using it to run to the secret shop.
Yeah, it's probably a waste there. Looking at the last hit, Sven is actually leading at 23 and 9 denies. That's a lot of gold. Sven, usually an underpicked hero, but with a little bit of farm, he can use his God Strength to do a lot of good damage in the mid game. On the Dire side, the top last hitter right now is Rubik with 22 last hits.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, he's soloing in lane, so he's not competing for any farm. We're seeing both Ogre Magi and Pudge are trying to get farm. You've got both Gyro and Lion competing for farm. I would have probably split up these lanes a little bit so it wasn't double melee and double ranged, and the supports could have played a little bit more like support and made sure they were feeding the right people, but all in all, I mean, with the very few deaths that have actually gone on, it's not poor lane choices.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they put Vengeful Spirit as the mid hero. With Vengeful Spirit, he's such a good support, he doesn't need a lot of farm. It's a lot better to put him in the side lane to support someone like Rikimaru or Phantom Lancer. And now is the time where they should start ganking. It is nighttime, they have their levels, they have their stun. Oh my god, Vengeful Spirit is going max Wave of Terror first over Magic Missile. I don't know if that's the best choice, especially when he wants to be ganking right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a poor choice. She was taking it because she wanted to harass with it. With only costing 40 mana at all levels, it's very easy to keep it cast. Telekinesis, keep her in the air, won't be enough. She will escape. She was using it to harass, and also you can pick up last hits with it pretty decently in middle. Overall, I'd say that's a symptom of her being put in the middle as opposed to her overall choice. But yeah, it's definitely not the best. Up top, we have Ricky Morrow chasing after a gyrocopter, but Ricky Morrow's kind of low on life. Definitely doing some body blocking there. Gets a couple backstabs in.
Yeah, fortunately, Gyrocopter doesn't have enough mana to use his missile or any of his spells. So Ricky got a few hits in. It's not a big deal. They're both going to run away.
It was a good pickup by Rubik as well, noticing that. It's a good play that he was moving up to assist. Vengeful Spirit in middle, not the best choice, but she can make it work if she roams and actually invests a lot of effort into ganking. But we're just not seeing that. A lot of passive play.
Yeah, absolutely. So here, going back to the gold graph now, Radiant's slight advantage, not a big deal, barely 500. And XP, the XP is actually in Radiant's advantage, almost 1,000. And that might snowball out of control if they don't start winning some of the lanes back, especially bottom lane. That's where they have the most trouble. But now, Rubik is going to come top, and if they can pick out the Ricky right now, it's actually very difficult because Ricky is level 6. Without any kind of detection, he can just stay passive and stay invisible.
Yeah, it's too bad. Rubik wanted to make something happen, but again, if you're not bringing dust or sentry wards when you're aiming to kill someone with windwalk or permanent invisibility like Yumaro, you're really just wasting your time. Chances are they're going to escape. We have a Sven teleporting back into bottom and a Pudge finishing off Sand King with a multi-cast off Ogre Magi in bottom lane.
Oh, wow. I have to comment, Vengeful Spear is playing very passively. He's still sitting in middle lane, farming. And Vengeful Spirit is very powerful during this stage of the game. He has swap, he has stun, he can make a lot of things happen. If he goes to bottom lane and gank, that's 3 stuns that they have. And a lot of times, that's a guaranteed kill. But going back to mid lane, oh yeah,
that's enough. That'll be enough for Rubik.
That's gonna be enough. That's what Vengeful Spirit needs to do to turn a game around. Kill out that mid hero.
Yeah, now imagine that in conjunction with a DPS from another hero.
Oh, Lion is in trouble. Smoke on top, and a lot of disables. If you can get one more Phantom Lance, oh no, he's teleporting away, and that's gonna save his life. But now Sven is going to get chains done here, even with the God Strength. It's not gonna be enough. With all that's done, he's not gonna have the chance to right-click anybody down.
That's definitely difficult when you go up against multicast with the Dismember.
Yeah, that is the thing with Ogre Magi. You just don't know when it's gonna happen. If he gets a multicast, gets lucky, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it.
Really, you just have to play on your toes, though. If you're spamming your spells and harassing with them, you just capitalize on the times it multicasts and shrug your shoulders when you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Rubik back in lane. A lot of arcane boots on their team.
Yeah, we've got 1 arcane on Rubik, and 1 on Pudge, and 1 on Ogre Magi. Nope, none on Pudge. So 2 arcane boots right now. That's gonna give them a lot of mana during team pushes. And especially with... Go ahead.
I'm just saying that Sven went middle instead of back to his lane. I guess he's got fed up with the Ogre and Pudge combo.
That's quite possible. Daytime is rolling around now, so any kind of nighttime ganking advantage is going to be over. Looking at wards, both teams have... Let's see here. Yeah, both teams have wards on the top lane. Top lane is pretty much covered. It's just the bottom lane. And right now, you see Vengeful Spirit and Sven coming top. Sven is going to grab the haste, and bottom lane might be in trouble. There are 3 stuns coming in, and they're pushing the lane, actually. No, they're going to smarten up and back off.
Sven dodges the hook. Got the multi-cast.
But,
double stuns. It's going to be enough.
Sven trades for the Ogre Magi, and great swap there. Come on, we just need a couple more right clicks, and maybe 1 more stun. What is Pudge doing? He's like AFK.
Definitely misclick cost him his life there. Yeah. I don't know whether or not he would have escaped, and Rubik picks it up.
Yeah,
I don't know if Pudge
would have escaped. And Rubik was there in time to throw a telekinesis. That might have been enough, but he just stood there for just that fraction of a second, and that was enough for Sand King to catch up to him.
Definitely.
I'm looking at Phantom Lancer now. He only has 10 last hits. And when you're hero that's very farm intensive, that's not going to transition well into the mid game. he needs things like, maybe a Diffusal Blade or a Radiance Rush, but he doesn't have the capability of that right now. All he has is Treads and Poor Man's Shield.
But if you take a look at Ricky, I mean, Ricky with 22 last hits, he's probably just giving them to Ricky, who is a more farm-dependent hero. I mean, Ricky Morrow is going to get to that point where he's always ganking, whereas Phantom Lancer is going to be pushing lanes. And we do see a Stormhammer, finger on Phantom Lancer.
Oh my god, Wind walks away for 15 HP. And there you go. That's what I'm talking about, man. We need to start ganking the side lanes. Because if you're just looking at the last hitting numbers, Lion and Gyrocopter was easily outlast hitting the top lane, which is pretty standard considering that there's 2 melee agility heroes.
Yeah, that's to be expected. I mean, every time they're moving in for last hits, they're going to get harassed. Which means that Phantom Lancer should have adjusted his build, a Soul Ring like you said, or other kinds of mana regeneration, and just really spam those Spirit Lances to push them back, or frustrate them if they go in for hits. So we got a Levitate after a Fade Blast on Ricky.
Looks like it's going to back off. Yep.
Just going to part ways. That was smart by Ricky, because he knew that top lane would come help Rubik, and smart by Rubik to not try to walk through the cloud.
Yeah. But now Ricky is still chasing down Rubik, and with a couple of stuns, oh no, he's engaging right now. I don't know if I agree with that. If he just waited a little bit more time, and for the stuns to come in, oh, they're going to stun the illusion, but not enough.
The damage on Blink Strike is just still so high, especially when you're getting the backstab damage bonus. Gyro launching a rocket, but that's not gonna really.
That might actually kill off Venge. Oh, no, it's not going for Venge. It's actually going for Sven.
Oh, Sven's low.
Oh, a couple more missiles. No, it's not enough. And a stun picks him off. Unfortunate there.
He got.
Putch is looking to go middle. No, he's gonna back off. Actually, he's a little bit indecisive. He was just kind of walking around. But if you can land a hook on that Vengeful Spirit right now, no, Vengeful Spirit moves out of the way, and he needs to run right now.
A little bit of Psychic Vengeful Spirit. I wasn't even to dodge a hook, she's just trying to get some creep hits.
But Putch is still chasing. Oh, and there is the hook. Yeah, that's it. Top tower is being pushed pretty hard, and Phantom Lancer can't stop this by himself. He needs a couple more teammates, and there are the TP supports. Lion has to back off immediately.
You see how much damage that Spirit Lance does. I mean, Lion's not notorious for having a lot of HP or anything like that, but it's still enough. I mean, an active role in using those spells is going to push those low HP intelligence heroes back, or even entirely out of lane once the regen's done. That's going to let you get some farm in, get some levels in, and then they're going to be playing on the back foot instead of the melee being behind. Sand King coming in center.
And looking for a stun on Rubik.
Yeah, he definitely wants to go for it.
He's backing up. He might have seen the enemies coming.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm kind of wondering why Lion's backing him all the way. He has full HP, pretty much full HP and full mana. He's backing up all the way to base. He could have been supporting a lot of lanes right now. Like, for example, top lane is being pushed, and he could be actually helping middle right now.
Saw Magic Missile on Rubik, but no one wanted to take the initiate.
It is kind of tough. They do have 3 heroes, and as I said, Telekinesis, Hook, Dismember, and also the Firefly. There's a lot of disables.
Now is definitely not when they want to go in.
Yeah, that was a great initiation by the Radiant side. Burrow Strike hits 2 heroes, also Sven's Stormhammer hits 2 heroes, and that's a wipe. 3 heroes, all of them died.
Bad play by Dire.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is, if you look at the Radiant side, a lot of them are low HP. Sand King is low. Sven is pretty much, 2 hits away from dying. And with a little bit better coordination and better position, they might have been able to do a little bit more damage to the Radiant side.
Definitely. Or even just waiting 8 more seconds, because Fade Bolt has next to no cooldown. Another cast of that would have been enough to put them all really low.
Middle tower is in trouble. A couple of TP coming in. It's not in deniable range yet, but Gyrocopter is going to come in. But no detection, which means Ricky Mario is going to get away. He is going to eat. Looks like Missile doesn't do damage to invisible heroes.
That's right.
Dire's middle tower.
Unless you have detection.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can see them. It still tracks the heroes, so you know where they are, but yeah, it doesn't deal damage if you go invisible. Pro tip.
Yeah. The only detection right now is lying with the Sentry Ward. I really wish they invest a lot more money into things like Dust Hold on, initiation on Rubik. Rubik is way out of position. He is going to die no matter what. Finger on Vengeful Spirit, drops immediately, and a couple more stuns. They're going to focus Zen down, but he's going to back away to the safety of the tower, and both sides content to just sit back for a little bit. But as I was saying, if they invest a little bit more dust, they have heroes like Rikimaru, Phantom Lancer, and also Sand King with his Sandstorm. It's 3 heroes with invisible abilities, and any kind of dust is going to be helpful during team fights.
So this whole time we've got Phantom Lancer pushing top uncontested here. That tower is going to go down.
And that's a lot of money for Phantom Lancer, which is exactly what he needs to transition into the mid game. He does take the last hit. That's about almost 500 gold for him. And looking at Blade of Alacrity by Phantom Lancer, he's probably going to make the Fuse of Blade, which is a good choice in my opinion.
Pudge is in a great spot middle behind the trees. Let's see if he shows himself.
Oh, it's a mistimed hook. No.
Yeah, that was not the best. Still going to be enough to pop Lion. Again with the rocket for Ricky.
Yeah, oh, great swap there. Gyrocopter way out of position. He cannot get away right there. And Sand King is coming in. Sven needs to go in. He does have this God Strength. A hook on Phantom Lancer. He is going to... Oh, the rot almost finished him off.
Yeah, bad decision to turn off the rot there. Now, we're going to see Pudge go down. Ricky's definitely coming into his own. Look at those chunks of HP fly.
Yeah, that's a team wipe. Big advantage going to the Radiant side, killing all 5 heroes. The score is 19 and 9. They do have 2 tower advantage. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Dire side to come back from this.
Yeah, at this point, the Dire team has to look at what they've got, and what they've got are stuns. They need to be playing defensively. They need to be winning not team fights, but ganks, just rolling up and obliterating whoever they're attacking with just no chance of any strikes back. If they play that way for the next 10-15 minutes, they're going to be able to actually pull something back out. But right now, if they keep playing the way they are, it's definitely going to be over.
Yeah. Another thing to note is that the Radiant side has carries like Rikimaru and Phantom Lancer, whereas the Dire side, they don't really have a hard carry that can transition well into the late game. So if they're not having the advantage in the mid game, as I said, it's going to be very tough for them to claw out of this hole that they're in.
Yeah, they're playing against the clock. You know, the clock's ticking.
Great hook by Pudge. Sorry to interrupt. Great hook by Pudge on Zen and a dismember, but that's not enough. Zen is very tanky right now with treads, 2 bracers, and an ogre club. That's a lot of HP on Zen.
Yeah, 1708. A blind hook is not actually enough to even cover the river there, so I'm not quite sure what he was hoping to accomplish. I was just saying, they're playing against the clock, it's ticking, and if Rikimaru, Phantom Lancer, gets to that point, they're going to find themselves just really outclassed. But they can't play aggressively right now. They need to farm. They need to compensate for some of the level disadvantage and the gold disadvantage, and just wait for the Radiant to make mistakes. We've already seen that Radiant's played a very aggressive hand, and if Dire was more conservative, then it wouldn't have paid off each time. But Dire's kind of shown up and done the same thing each time, and that's why they're dying. Easy kill on Sand King there.
Yeah, he was sandstorming. Definitely a bad play. When you have heroes like Lion who can impale the ground, it's just going to disrupt your sandstorm immediately, and he paid for his life.
More damage on Sven. Look at this, just chaining the stuns together, and it's going to... Oh! No, the missile should be enough to take him down.
Oh my god, that tanky Sven, man. He has 4 HP.
Wow! Wow, and Sven doesn't die. Unbelievable.
That's the power of just stacking strength. He does take the tower, and that's what he needs to do. Win a couple of team fights, take some towers, and Vengeful Spirit not gonna get chains on. No chance of her getting out of this alive.
See, and that's exactly what Dire needs to do. I mean, if Radiant's gonna be aggressive and trickle in one at a time like that, it's not difficult to pick them off with all of those stuns on all those separate cooldowns and just work them down. Rikimaru with a nice pickup there with going godlike. But all in all, I'd still say that was in favor of Dire. I mean, Phantom Lancer stayed behind. He gave his life trying to get the deny on the tower, which he didn't. So it's a lot of gold for Dire.
Yeah. 9-0 on Rikimaru, and this is the scary part about Rikimaru. He can steamroll out of control in the mid game, and it becomes a point where it's very difficult to slow him down. He can just pick off support heroes so easily with his backstab, and as the game progresses, heroes like Lion, Rubik, or even Gyrocopter with a lot of low HP, they're food for Rikimaru at this point.
Yeah, look at Rubik here. He actually hasn't spell stolen anything, and he's running around with a Void Stone trying to farm the jungle. I don't agree with that. He just doesn't have the regen to actually fight in the jungle for any kind of reasonable amount of time. And without any kind of stats or attack items, he's not killing them quickly either. A lot smarter right now. Look at that. He just picked up 4 last hits in middle. Much better play.
But now he's going to go back all the way to the fountain to heal up, just because he's tanking creeps. Oh wait, hold on. I think he's going to go to the secret shop and buy a Ring of Health, maybe? Yeah, he's going to get Perseverance. It's a lot of regen, but as you said, not a lot of stats.
Looks like he's aiming to build a Bloodstone.
Yeah.
Which is a good bet for him, but with the amount of regen you actually get on a Soul Stone, I normally go for the Soul Stone first. How about you?
Yeah, same. I really like the point booster pickup. It's a lot of stats, but 1 second here, Sven is out of position with the chain stun. Vengeful Spirit's trying to save him, but I don't know if it's the right place. There are 3 heroes, and a hook comes in, no chance. They're moving in 1 by 1, and that's the problem. Ricky is coming in trying to pick off Pudge, and he's gonna succeed. Oh, and the multicast.
Yeah, well, everyone knows that Ogre is one of the hardest skill cap heroes out there, right? So getting those multicast is very difficult.
Now, it looks like Ricky got killed by the missile while he was invisible. So, I have to check up on whether the missile hits invisible heroes or not.
It depends on when you go invisible. If you go invisible within 1 to 2 seconds of it actually striking you, so if you wind walk right before it hits you, or if Ricky's invisibility kicks in, it doesn't seem to work. If you've been invisible for a lengthier period of time, it seems that it still does damage.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know what Sanking was thinking there. He was channeling his epicenter in range of 3 stunners. So there was no chance that he was going to get that off. He gets picked off immediately.
And that's one of the powers of telekinesis. I mean, the way that you're holding the guy up in the air, it's an obvious target, everyone's going to jump all over you.
Yeah, it's a spell that has a lot of potential to change team fights around, disabling multiple heroes. Sanking really needs his Blink Dagger to do that kind of initiation, especially against this many disables. He's not just going to be able to stand there, charge epicenter, and expect the heroes on the enemy teams to not disable him during that channeling duration. But going back to your question, yeah, I enjoy picking up that point booster first because of the extra HP and mana. It gives you enough survivability. On a hero like Rubik with so little HP, that 200 health bonus could be the difference of you dying and surviving and killing multiple heroes.
Definitely. I mean, looking at him right now, he only has 1,000 HP total. So when you're talking about giving yourself, and that's including a point booster, a 200 health on that. So he gave himself about a 25% increase in HP. That's huge.
Absolutely, and I think he's overdoing it on the mana regen. Now, yes, Rubik does need a lot of mana, but when you're talking about the mid-game, survivability is usually more important than spamming your spells. The funny thing is he actually spell steal a Sandstorm, which is probably not going to be the most useful spell on Rubik.
Yeah, especially when you're playing against a team like Ricky Maru, or Phantom Lancer with Spirit Lance, Sven with Stormhammer, you've got Burrow Strike from Sand King, and Magic Missile from Vengeful Spirit. Those are all high damage instant casts. HP is going to help you a lot more than being able to regenerate your mana in between fights. These combats aren't lasting long enough for a Void Stone to really be of any use. The Arcane Boots, I can understand, that's an immediate mana regen, but the others not so much. Pudge being over-aggressive there. Still though, look at those chain stuns, it's more than enough.
Exactly, like, this is what we're talking about. This is what the Dire needs to do. They need to take advantage of their teamfight capability. They have so many stuns. Look at these teamfights going in their favor right now. 3 dead on the Radiant side, and no death on the Dire side. And here's a chance to finish off the Tier 2 middle tower.
I'm just going to point out that Rubik survived because of Sandstorm.
Ironic, but good job on him.
Yeah,
look at Rubik just walking all the way up front. That's a very scary position to be in. Ideally, you want tankier heroes like Ogre, Magi, or Pudge to be up front.
I know they're going to pick up... Oh, maybe not. Yeah, they'll pick up Sand King here. I just want to point out that their obsession with killing heroes is actually what let them have that tower denied on them. It was sitting there at 2 HP for more than enough time for any of the heroes to right-click it down, but instead they let it go. And that's 1,000 gold they just wasted. Actually, more.
Looking at the score, they're evening it up. It's 22 to 20. Looks like Zhao is going to go down. And it's a lot of damage being done to the Tier 3 tower. about half HP. Even though they're not going to be able to finish it off, the next time they push the middle tower, that's going to go down for sure.
Well, let's see if they push it again in the second wave. If they do, I don't agree with that. Okay, no, it looks like they're going to back up.
Yeah. A better play would be to gank them, kill a couple of heroes, and then push in again. But as I said, with half HP, you're going to leave the mid lane vulnerable quite easily if they if the Radiant makes any more mistakes during team fights.
So let's take a look at the experience graph real quick. You can actually see that it's around the 20-minute mark. Radiant had more than 10,000 more experience than Dire. And just with effective use of stuns, Dire's evened it up.
Yeah, this is quite impressive actually. We were saying that, they were in a deep hole, it was very difficult for them to come back, but you know what? They're making it happen. They're winning these team fights with their disables, and they're pushing it immediately. So, if they're gonna win this game, that's what they need to do. They can't let Ricky Maru get out of control, they can't let Phantom Lancer get out of control, and if they keep continuing to do this, they can actually turn this around and win. But if you look at the gold, they're actually in favor, about 3,000 gold in their advantage.
Yeah, that's primarily to do with towers, and of course, I mean, as they get kills on higher level heroes, you get more gold for it, and the kills were all done in quick succession. They're not losing gold from deaths. But let's look at what they're doing now. It seems like, they're splitting up. They're spending a lot of time walking in between lanes, as I definitely do not agree with. Ogres in the forest. Pudge being chased by Ricky. I was watching it too. I was waiting for the initiate, defuse a blade for the snare, and see if he tries to deny himself. He does manage to pull it off. Good gank, though, with Sven coming in there with the Stormhammer just to seal the deal.
Pudge is pretty happy about the suicide, and yeah, that's the thing with suicide. You deny the enemy the gold, the experience, and it's quite frustrating trying to gank Pudge where you throw all these resources trying to kill him, and he just times a perfect rot and kills himself. Gyro Copper trying to solo defend the bottom lane, but they do have two stunners. One stun goes on him, and looking for the Sand King stun. Come on, Sand King, go in. Yes, Sand King stun and a swap, couple more right clicks, and they're gonna go down.
Swap was definitely overkill there, but I mean, Sand King was not on the ball with his Burrow Strike. They could have made that a lot smoother. Rubik trying to trickle his way in. See, they had an advantage. They were behind. They get themselves an advantage, and then they go back to playing the way they were before when they were losing. I don't agree with that. You keep doing what works. You stop doing what doesn't. Trickling in is not the way to do these fights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sand King caught.
Yeah,
that'll be a dead
chain disables, Hex, no chance.
And it must be frustrating for them just to sit through all that many number of stuns. There's nothing you can do about it except farm a BKB.
Exactly, and a lot of it comes down to being in good positions. They have chain stuns. You can't be out alone like that. One stun catches you, you're dead. There's no way you can get out of that chain disabled.
Exactly. One is enough for the rest of them to hit theirs. And even with them, misplaying a little bit, like the Fire Blast and Telekinesis at the same time, could have been done better, but it's still enough.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just the thing that happens in pub games. You don't have perfect coordination. You haven't played with these people before. So these little mistakes are going to happen. But the good thing is the carries on the Radiant side, they're not having a fun time farming. Looking at Ricky right now, he has 59 last hits, and it's 32 minutes into the game. It's not uncommon to see Ricky Maru at this stage have over 100 last hits. Whereas in this game, since they've been ganking and pushing so much, he just doesn't have the luxury to sit in lane and farm for now.
Ricky Maru is also making the mistake that a lot of Rickies do. I mean, they get to level 6, they become invisible, and they think that they have no more reason to be in lane. They should just be roaming the map as sort of like a mobile observer ward. It's a lot cheaper just to spend 200 gold and put down observer wards than waste all your time and effort following the round. Like right now, Ricky chasing in behind them, it's good because they're about to set up a gank, but what's he been doing for the other 20 minutes of the game?
Exactly. But it's going to be a pretty good initiation here. Pudge probably going to go down. Oh yeah, I don't know. Pudge is going to get a hook on and a disable into tower range. But Ricky Maru is finishing him off. TP support from Lion and a great impale catching 2 heroes, and that's going to turn it around.
Yeah, Ricky Maru with bad positioning on Pudge. Trying to fight Pudge face to face, I mean, you really do need that backstab bonus damage. Blink Strike does put you behind the target, but there's no reason not to micro yourself behind them, I should say. With 4 Dire heroes at bottom, let's see if they go for the tier 2 bottom tower. And that'll actually give them a tower lead.
Exactly. The Radiants, they're not in a position to defend this. Sven is still trying to farm the jungle, and Phantom Lancer is the only one TPing the bottom lane. They see this coming. A great wave of creep is coming, and 4 Dire heroes. I don't know if they can do anything about it. There is a glyph pop right now, but as I said, with only 2 heroes, they're not in a position to defend this tower.
Yeah. I don't know if this was intentional or not by Rubik, but a decent placement on his illusion up top, just to watch the wards or the woods for a behind.
Yeah, it was a good play. Oh, I don't know if they're going to be a little bit over-aggressive here, pushing up into Tier 3. And all the Radiant heroes are spawned right now, so if they do get a chain of initiation on a Dire team, they might be able to turn it around. They're doing a smart thing, and they are backing off. Great play by them.
Yeah, they feigned some pressure, or maybe they intended on going up, but they saw that Radiant was up, and they backed up. That's a lot smarter play.
Gyrocopter might be out of position. He is farming their jungle, but the Radiant team is moving in immediately. He's going to get out just in time.
But that's the thing. I mean, without wards from either Dire or Radiant, it's all just guessing game.
Yeah, they're coming in on middle lane, and here's a BKP pop, and no disable. There's no way to disable. He needs to get closer. He needs to get closer so he can start right-clicking the heroes. Rikimaru chasing, and a multi-cast lands. Rubik with the Fate Bolt. No, it's swapped by Rubik. And now Pudge is going to dismember. Sven does have a lot of HP, but a lot of Dire heroes are chasing him down. One more disable, and that's going to be enough to end his life.
I really feel like Rubik needs to be put more effort in his spell steal.
Yeah, there's a lot of good spells that he can steal, but Nether Swap, I don't know if it's the best choice.
Bottom lane looks like Ogre Magi is going to go down to Phantom Lancer. One more Spirit Lance, and Phantom Lancer gives them the chase.
Yeah, the Ignite saved his life there, slowed everyone down. Pudge is coming in. There is a good Dismember, but it's not enough. Looking for... Oh, here comes a Purge.
Oh.
That hook almost killed him, but he did trade for it.
Still, though, you know what, though? He got the experience.
And
he got
the
the
most
gold.
important thing is middle lane is being pushed down by the Dire. The tower is down. Both Raxes are going to go down, and that's a great advantage for the Dire team. TP supports are coming in, but it's a little bit too late.
You got to be careful too, because if you're TPing in range like that, you're just asking to get hit with those disables, asking to hit with those stuns.
Absolutely. Dire is backing off right now, and with you know what, they are turning this game around. This is pretty unbelievable. The kill score is pretty even, but it's just that it comes down to the team fight and the pushes. They want team fights, they push at the right time, and now look, 2 Raxes down in the middle.
Well, looking at the gold chart, you see that you've got almost 7,500 gold in favor of the Dire. And that's just a monstrous lead to have. Experience as well, Dire's 6,000 ahead.
Yeah, it's remarkable considering that they don't have a late game hard carry. They're just pushing it and wrecking the enemy base. Simple as that. I really wish teams would put down more wards, as you said. Especially looking at Gyrocopter's positioning. He has no clue where the enemies are. Rikimaru is coming in. He can Blink Strike and Purge and go for initiation, but looks like he's not going to do that. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's going to go around and go for the Lion. Lion has no clue this is coming. He's still pushing, and that's what I mean. Well, Lion is backing right now with Phase Boots, and Rikimaru should jump on him right now. Come on.
I just want to point out that since we last referenced Rikimaru, he's gained 10 hits.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, he is getting a couple more kills, but if you're considering it, considering 1 kill compared to farming, let's say 10 creeps, 10 creeps is actually a little bit more important in terms of farm.
He took no damage from that rocket that time.
Yeah, so I guess it just comes down to fate time. Who do you think is going to win this? This is actually a very close game. Do you think the Dire is going to turn it around, or do you think Radiant is going to be able to outcarry this in the late game?
You know, it's a tough call because at this point, Dire obviously has the huge advantage in terms of gold, experience, and towers. But hero-wise, the Radiant has the advantage. If this game drags on for another 20 to 30 minutes, characters like Rikimaru and Phantom Lancer are going to be unstoppable by Rubik and Gyrocopter and Pudge. But it's all subject to change. I mean, right now, we're seeing Dire throw away Pudge and Ogre Magi in middle, and plays like that are definitely going to help get not only put Radiant back in the game, but a double kill on Ricky Morrow is another 600 gold for him to go invest in more killing power.
Yeah, triple kill.
Excuse me.
A lot of gold.
Triple kill.
Yes. Unfortunately, the Radiant can't push right now because the lanes are being pushed towards their side. So even though they got a couple hero kills, they can't capitalize on it too much by pushing down towers or maybe taking down Roshan.
Yeah, I would agree with Roshan over towers, just because of the distance it would take. Rubik's only 10 seconds out. Pudge is only 20 seconds out. It'd be tough to really take a tower in that amount of downtime. What they really need to do is farm, though, and I have no idea why Ricky Morrow is in base right now just to pick up his Ogre Club when he could have ferried that to himself with the Courier and farmed all the creeps that were in middle.
Absolutely.
Instead, Phantom Lancer is doing the right thing here. Phantom Lancer up to 93 last hits over Ricky Morrow here with only 72.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. Phantom Lancer is probably making a Manta style, and that's a lot of pushing power. Looking at the Dire side, they actually don't have a lot of anti-push. I mean, Lion has Impale and maybe an Ignite, but against an army of a lot of Phantom Lancer who has the Mana Break ability on Diffusal Blade, it's actually tough to stop.
Yeah, definitely. If he gets a big enough war host, I mean, just look how many he's running around with right now as he heads over to the Ancients. It's just, that's, you know, an unreal number of targets.
Exactly, and that's what they need to do. They need to just hold on, turtle up, and wait for Phantom Lancer to get unstoppable, Ricky Morrow to get unstoppable, and that's how they win. But as you said, you know, it could go either way. It comes down to the pushes. It comes down to the defense. Whoever wins the team fight. Oh no, hold on. Sand King's out of position, gets hooked, and Chain Disable. One guy's down, and I don't know what Vengeful Spirit is doing. And here comes
So
the
Vengeful's definitely trying to play like a teammate. I mean, she wanted to go in and she wanted to swap. She's got a mechanism. The only thing she's not doing is purchasing wards for the team. But you know, you can't support people when they're doing bad plays. Even if you're a support hero, you're just gonna die as well, and that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to let it go. But this might be enough for them to take maybe another set of racks. It's 5-on-3. They do have both of the carries, but with the sheer number of disables and without any kind of Black King bar to protect themselves, this is going to be an easy way for them to take the game right now.
Ricky Morrow hit with dust and then dead. That's just how it is.
Yeah, oh my god. I can't believe this. I think the Dire is going to turn this around. They're going for the hearts. They're going for the throne. They're not going for any of the other Raxes. They're just going for the win right now.
But they don't need to. I mean, they don't need the gold. They just need to make it end.
Looks like the blame is gonna come down from Ricky Morrow.
That's 100% how these games tend to go.
That's how pops work.
If you're ever in a public game audience,
oh my god, they're finishing it off. The towers are down. They're
yourself.
focusing it down. Oh my god, that's a pretty good comeback from a Dire side. They were so far behind. At one point, Ricky Morrow was 9-0, and a lot of games when you're looking at the scoreboard and you see a 9-0 Ricky Morrow, a lot of players might just give up at that point. But you know what? They're stuck in there. They hang on and they won.
Yeah, definitely with some good group plays and those amazing chain stuns and playing their strengths was the way to go.
Wow, it was an amazing game. Wow, I hope you guys enjoyed it. XV, what do you think about the game? Pretty good game, huh?
Yeah, definitely did not expect to see that coming out of low priority, or sorry, not low priority, but low skill level. Normally you see games go very one-sided because people kind of throw their hands up and give up, but both teams stuck it out there. Both teams tried the whole way through, until the very end we threw around some bad mouth and bad manners. But yeah, definitely impressed with just the tenacity of the players, if not their item choices and perhaps skill levels.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.